tournament.
Now the city prepares for the challenge.
It will take all of us to pull this tournament off.
Indiana was made for this moment.
Oh, that moment will come in March when all 68 teams in the men's college basketball tournament will head here to the Hoosier State.
Of course, we have team coverage of this historic decision. Let's get right out to sports director Anthony Calhoun, who broke that story for us this morning on Daybreak. AC.
Hey, good evening to you. I tell you what, it is unprecedented what took place here today. The city of Indianapolis playing host to the entire 2021 men's NCAA basketball tournament. And you talk about being on the map, the entire college basketball world will invade right here, the Circle City here in Indianapolis for 3 weeks of just, you name it, just a lot of fun. March Madness here in the Circle City. I can tell you this tonight, that the setup for these student athletes will be similar to what we saw in the NBA. They're going to have a bubble type situation. Obviously, safety is number one for these student athletes as we try to navigate through this pandemic. Those 68 teams, they'll be staying at 3 local hotels right here in downtown Indianapolis. And so safety is number one throughout this March Madness here in Indianapolis. As far as the venues, right here behind me, Lucas Oil Stadium will be the site of this year's Final Four. But take a look at some of these other venues where these teams will battle for a chance to play for a national championship. We mentioned Lucas Oil. They're going to have 2 courts actually here at Lucas Oil Stadium, but those games will not be going at the same time. Meanwhile, you've got Bankers Life Fieldhouse, another venue as well. How about Hinkle Fieldhouse as well? Indiana Farmers Coliseum. And then you're going to head up to West Lafayette for first round games only here for Mackey Arena and Assembly Hall down there in Bloomington. As far as the convention center here in downtown Indianapolis, that will be the site for a lot of the practice sessions for these teams. NCAA President Mark Emmert said it was devastating news last year to cancel the NCAA tournament for these student athletes, and he did not want a repeat of what we saw in 2020.
This year, we want to make sure we deliver on the promise of March Madness. The athletes who've dealt with so much difficulty this year and have responded with such incredible resiliency and resolve, they deserve it. Let's all get this done, Indiana. We can do this, and I know we can be successful and show the world what Indiana and Indianapolis is capable of.
To have, folks like Dr. Emmert and Dan Gavitt and Joanne Scott, feel so good about Indianapolis and to trust us, and for them to say to whether it's the university presidents or whether it's the athletic directors or the committee, whatever the case may be, let's take it to Indianapolis and let's do it. Is beyond our belief, and we couldn't be more excited and more grateful to them for it.
No doubt this city is fired up to play host to the entire men's NCAA basketball tournament taking place right here in Indianapolis. Now, I know there's a lot of questions tonight. What about the fans? Are fans able to watch these games on these venues here? And so I can tell you this, as of right now, no fans are going to be allowed to attend these games outside of family members and, of course, officials that are located or connected with the schools. However, that could change based on how we deal with this pandemic right now. But as far as right now, no fans will be allowed access to these games. But obviously, there'll be a lot of watching on television because March Madness, as we were talking about that in the newsroom, is a part of our culture here, especially here in Indiana. Should be a great time. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how they pull it off. But there's no other city, I believe, that can do it like we do it here in Indy. Of course, we got much more in this story coming up later here on News 8 at 5. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, AC, thanks so much. So Butler's director of athletics says the university very proud to host tournament games for the first time in more than 80 years. Barry Collier sent News 8 a statement saying, bringing all of March Madness to our great state and our great city in 2021. Yet another example of true partners coming together to showcase our community as the best place to host sporting events. Well, city and state leaders say the announcement today comes after more than a month of discussions for how do you make it happen? Wish TV's Dan Klein continues our team coverage from outside NCAA headquarters. Dan, over to you.
Yeah, it all started about 6 weeks ago. That was the day that NCAA officials met with both Governor Eric Holcomb and Mayor Joe Hogsett on the same day, but in separate meetings. It was mid-November. The NCAA reaching out with its endeavor to have a tournament all in a single area and region. Of course, no surprise, but the mayor says he was overjoyed to get that call. Now, while there's no direct financial support expected from this city, it will require extra costs in terms of police and public works. And with COVID top of mind, county health officials will be key decision makers when it comes to how many people other than parents and players are allowed inside each game, something that AC just referred to. Still, Hogsett says this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
This is more than just basketball. This is the opportunity for our city to step back into the limelight and remind the world that Indianapolis is the best host city in the country.
And all eyes will be on us, and we'll be able to demonstrate and prove that not only have we done these in the past, but come what may, we can figure out how to do them safely under the current circumstances.
Mayor Hogsett says this year's games would mean that Indianapolis has hosted more men's basketball tournament games than any other area or region in the country. Both the mayor and the governor say they hope it leads to other big events, not just sports, but conventions and other large gatherings. Reporting live outside the NCAA headquarters, Dan Klein, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook.
All right, Dan, thank you. The tournament obviously will be a big boost to not only Indianapolis, but of course the hospitality industry as well. That's even if fans aren't allowed into the arenas. News 8's Logan Gay continues our team coverage with what some are calling a win for everyone.
Now that the big news has been confirmed from the NCAA, downtown hotels are busy preparing for the increase in visitors.
It's a great day to start off 2021.
The hospitality industry is buzzing with the news regarding the NCAA hosting their entire men's basketball tournament here in Indiana. The president and CEO of the Indiana Restaurants and Lodging Association, Patrick Tam, calls this a success story.
The entire regions will have a tremendous shot in the arm, and is by far our best round of business news we've had for some time.
Tim says right now 2/3 of Indiana hotels are looking at bankruptcy. He says the biggest economic boost will come if the tournament allows a few fans in the stands.
If we're able to get some fans, the economic impact is tremendous. This is always going to be different. We're not going to have full stadiums. We don't anticipate that. But if we can have some fans, whether that's for the Allen County Health Department, the Vanderburgh County Health Department, or Marion County's Health Department here in Indianapolis, that'd be a tremendous boost.
Senior Vice President of Visit Indy, Chris Gold, says so far there are nearly 3,000 hotel rooms on hold for the tournament. They estimate the tournament will have a 9-figure economic impact. He believes Indy was made for this moment.
It's part of a collective recovery that we're looking forward to, that we've been planning towards. This gives us a unique opportunity to position Indianapolis as a city, as the city, recovering more quickly and understanding the ins and outs and intricacies of hosting events during a pandemic.
Both Tam and Gold hope this news means brighter days are coming.
The hope, the desire is that will lead to future convention business, future event business, because of Indianapolis being raised up as the poster child for conducting safe and sound events during a pandemic.
And no matter where the visitors plan to stay, downtown Indianapolis hotels plan to welcome them with open arms. Downtown, I'm Logan Gay, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.